Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 302. My name is Brando, and if you're watching this on Zoom, I kind of feel like Alice the maid, or the housekeeper from the Brady Bunch. You know, like where I'm situated. That's a reference. We're gonna go back and make a lot of references today. I think it's kind of like an anniversary episode, celebration, nostalgia. But I guess in a way, Roberta Freeman, I feel like this is a sequel to your video. In a way, it's the way your video kicked off. It's
Kinda, yeah, it really is.
I guess the only thing I'm taking place of Stephen Perkins, who couldn't be with us today.
Yeah.
But other than that, do you
We
want
love you,
to
Perky?
do? But we got everybody else here, so
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Teddy Zig Zag, for being here.
My pleasure.
Is what's great is the first time you were on, Roberta was my co-host for that. So
That's right. I do remember that now.
It's very cool that the both times that you were on were with Roberta, and it's cool before we start recording, you guys catch up, and it's like I get to be a fly on a wall, you know, just listening to you guys catch up, and it's kismet.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't see each other enough in LA, but I mean, we spent 2.5 years together, so
a long time.
A long time. You know, was a lot done.
An intense 2.5 years, and we're going to talk about how today we're recording on the 30th anniversary of the release of Use Your Illusion.
My back just went out.
You can just say the anniversary.
It's so funny that those guys are considered now a classic rock act.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. That's so, I mean, time flies, man. You got to enjoy life now, boy. That's for sure.
Well,
as it flies.
I will say you both look fantastic. You look like the inside of the cover of the album. Nothing has changed. You both look great. That's what Zoom tells.
Thanks.
Next up, you're welcome. We got Derek Day in his awesome t-shirt right now from the band Classless Act. What's going on, Derek?
How you doing, Brandon? Hello, Roberta, Ted, and Derek Frank. Nice to be here with you guys. I love you guys and look up to all of you very much. I'm doing all right. I'm just hanging out in the kitchen.
I love it. I'm almost in the kitchen because, as you can tell, and how our next guest, who you kind of introduced, Derek Frank, said to me before we connected, let me guess by looking at your background, who's your favorite band? And what'd you say? Devo. Yeah, so now you get it. Appetite for Distortion, Roberta, Teddy. You know, so I don't have a cool background like you. So where are you located? In a secret, you know, base where you keep all your bases? Where are you?
This is my studio in beautiful Burbank, California. And as I was saying earlier, it's a hot wreck right now because I'm moving stuff around. But yeah, just here in the old garage studio.
I like it. So you got to make do with what you have. I mean, if you didn't say you were moving, I wouldn't have been able to tell. It just like
he has an awesome studio.
It just looks like the typical musician studio with gear everywhere and cases everywhere, and yeah,
it's a gorgeous studio. It really is. It's
thank
awesome.
you. Come hang sometime.
I will. Thank you.
But before he moves, I got to acknowledge, do you have a cat in your studio? Because I have one over my left shoulder.
My cats don't come out here. I do have 2 cats though, but they I don't think they've ever been out to the studio because it's a detached garage and the cats are indoor cats and they've just never made their way out here.
Well, this is the one that does not jump on the board. So hopefully the one that jumps on the board and shuts things off does not come here, because I know this is a big group we got. So I will do my best to navigate everything, and you know, everyone gets because we're here together for a reason, not just to celebrate. We'll get to the anniversary of Use Your Illusion. But Roberta, you want to tell us what I was just talking about before the beginning of your video? You made this cover of Pink Floyd,
right?
You were here, and it's so much more than when you told me about it before. Hey, I'm working on this cover. I didn't know much about it. And I saw it with the members here, you know, again, minus Stephen Perkins. And I'm just, you made a music video. It was great.
Thank you. Well, you know, I mean, where do I begin? First of all, I'm so incredibly grateful to have the most talented friends on the planet. And, you know, I'm so in awe of all of you guys Teddy and Derek and Derek and Stephen, you know, for participating and helping this become something other than a little tiny spot, you know. When I first started, this was in the height of the pandemic, and everybody was kind of putting out these little videos on YouTube and like recording like right from their home and you know, just putting these little videos out, these little home videos. And I thought, oh, I want to do something like that. And I think, you know, Wish You Were Here is a really appropriate song, because not only did I work with Pink Floyd, but also the message that it sends is very appropriate. So I started doing it, and I was working with Derek Day's brother, Waldemar, and he was saying, well, Roberta, maybe, you know, because I was sending him stuff to edit, and he was saying, well, maybe instead of just singing in your bedroom, maybe you should, you know, use the rest of the house or make a little story out of it. And I was like, okay. So I mean, this had so many phases of me, you know, walking up the block to my house and opening the front door and sitting on the couch and taking off my mask and starting to sing, to actually getting an amazing venue, the Terragram Ballroom, and being able to, you know, record most of it there. And the thing that brought it together as a pandemic song was the Zoom meeting, you know, because everybody was Zooming, you know. So I thought, you know, the beginning of the song should be the Zoom meeting, and then it should end with the Zoom meeting. And my boyfriend, Tim Glenn, has a huge part in, you know, the whole idea of the progression of the video. And he had the idea of doing it in a venue. And I was like, I can't get a venue. And it was really hard, like every step of the way. This thing took forever, because every step of the way, I had big, huge walls, you know, of obstacles to overcome. You know, I couldn't get a venue. I didn't know if everybody's schedule was going to coincide. I was trying to get it mixed and mastered, and I just like ended up going through so many different like ebbs and flows that I almost shelved it so many times. It almost didn't see the light of day. And then I was able to get, you know, just an amazing crew. Michael Franks was the director of photography, and he did an amazing job. And Robin Daynard got the venue for me. And Waldemar Ulidokia, is that how you say his last name, Derek? Your brother?
Yeah, no, close. Vlodika.
Okay.
Vlodika.
Vlodika. Okay. Well, he came through like unbelievably, and all you guys, the performances, I was so blown away with everybody's performance on this. It was, you know, it's just like, you know, I feel very blessed to put it out there, and now that it's finally out there, you know, I hope that it gets a good response, and I want to do more. So, you know, I feel like this was like kind of an experiment, you know, and it just kind of snowballed into what it became, you know. And it started off as like a little tiny, I was just gonna sing on my iPhone, you know, and record it from my iPhone, and it turned into something completely different. So I'm really blessed.
That's where it starts, and I'm glad you didn't shelve it. And you've seen a lot of, just like me, trying to be creative with Zoom during this pandemic, you know, when I'm not in a studio, you know, with cats and GNR stuff behind me. But the fact that you kept with, okay, you know what, not lessening your vision, because there are a lot of people that might just put together a Zoom video, and that's still very hard and very cool to do.
It is.
But to not, again, sacrifice your vision. So with that, you obviously had the right people to stay with you, to support you. So how did you go about getting your friends here involved?
Begging
Oh, it didn't take much begging.
Yeah.
It took merely a text saying, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I first when I first wanted to do it, I just thought it was going to be like, oh, let's do this little ditty. It'll be fun on Facebook, and we could do like the little Brady Bunch thing and have everybody singing and playing and doing what they do. And so I didn't think that, I think that maybe everybody said yes because they didn't think there was much of a commitment, but then it started kind of getting bigger and I was like, God, do you guys still want to do this? Because, I want to do it kind of, I wanted to start doing it correctly, and yeah, I think the biggest challenge was getting everybody's schedule together and I'm so sorry, Teddy and Derek Day, because you guys ended up doing it twice, right?
Well, that was just my fault because I was trying to be creative on my end and I didn't know what I was doing. I'm going, well, I think this would look good in black and white. So let me send it to them in black and white. And then the editor gets it and he goes, what am I going to do with this?
Right.
I can't work with this.
But I thought it was cool, but it was just,
But I got it. Now I know, now I know how to, the resolution, the size,
Right.
how to do it from a camera and never do anything creative. Just give it to the guy rough.
Right. I learned never to do it in the portrait.
Yeah. Right.
You have to, stuff like
Well,
that.
and again, I got to kudos to Roberta because I kept asking, hey, when is this thing going to come out, Roberta? Come on. She goes, oh, I'm having problems doing this, or I'm having problems getting the theater. And I'm like, man, this is taking an awfully long time. But then after I saw what she had done, blew my mind. It
Really?
completely, like, holy smokes. Yeah, I
wow.
completely was blown away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she did it right. That's for sure.
It wasn't just the challenge of recording these on your own, the music part of it. You got to try, the video to create again your whole vision. You going into the theater with your mask on, with your fierce dress, and then looking all.
And the girls.
You said it.
The COVID girls. All that
it.
weight that
I was thinking it, but you said it. You looked at it on the empty crowd, but it's very cool. That could have just been the video. That could have been it. Maybe B-roll or something. But you had both the Derricks and you had Steven and Ted. It's kind of in their own element, recording, kind of almost being there with you. Alone. In a way, right? Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't have been the same video if it wasn't for the Zoom call that brought it together and getting the element of these guys playing in their homes and me daydreaming that I'm in the theater, but they had to be playing from their home studios, So I think that everybody did an amazing job. And I was so blown away. Like every time I had to ask anybody to do anything, I felt so bad. I was like, okay, so can you record this? Okay, now can you videotape it? Can you I'm sorry. I felt horrible, but I feel so loved, honestly, because you guys came through and you guys just gave such a great, ridiculously wonderful performance, and I was blown away. I was blown away by you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honor to be involved.
It seems.
Same here, Roberta.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, when I saw the video, I was blown away. I didn't know it was gonna be that, and I was like, whoa! And that's part of the reason why I think everyone here loves working with you. Is because, like you said, it's like if we do it, we don't want to just do like a weird half-ass version. We got to do it right. We got to do it big and awesome. And that's why we love working with you. We're like, just like you're singing too. You're just like, I'm not going to sing like whatever. I'm going to go boom,
Thank you.
Well, I'm good. Don't mute yourself just yet, Mr. Derek Day. I'm glad you jumped in. Because, obviously, this is Roberta's project. She's singing it, but to get the right players to it and to play the guitar on a Floyd song.
Oh my God.
What went into picking, Double D, The other double. Sorry,
Double
that was-
D. I love it.
But,
TT.
Mr. Derek Day. I mean, and then for you, Derek, was there any pressure? I guess. I mean, you've played a lot of big shows. You don't seem like that kind of person, but do you any pressure to play Pink Floyd with Roberta?
So like, there's so much pressure, and I'm still kind of like trying to keep up with like Ted and Derek Frank. I'm like trying, and Perkins. I want to be, and like Roberta. I want to be like where they're at, and I'm still learning. So there's a tempo thing. You gotta get the tempo just right. And it was like, that was the first thing I was worried about. Like, oh, am I 1 BPM too fast? Because if I am, then it's not Wish You Were Here anymore. Then it's, might as well be a circle jerk song or whatever.
Well,
And
we
it's like-
discussed that. That was in the beginning, and I actually did it a little slower.
And you did a little slow. You told me
Yeah.
to pull it back. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, and I'm just, right now I'm squirrely. I'm a squirrely guy. So I just had to make sure that scratch track was like, pull it back. And there was a lot of that. And
That's perfect.
and then I think Ted or someone told me like, hey, someone who played organs on it. They were just like, you messed up one chord. And I was like, no. So like, I was just so worried. I was like, please don't fire me.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I remember talking to Roberta, and she says, "Oh, Derek was going to redo his parts." So I went, "Well, why?" It sounded good to me. But then after listening, when I went to record it again, I remember that one chord was, I don't think he's playing the right chord there.
Mm.
And then I had to go back and listen to the original. I go, I don't hear that. So you get a lot of that.
It's an A minor and a C major. A is a relative, of a C. So
That's
Well,
exactly right.
I honestly think that, what you're playing, it's funny because I haven't listened to the original for a while, and I went back and listened to the original, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It sounds good, but what my guys are playing on this song is just other level stuff. I mean, really, I'm not to toot my own horn, but
I remember you saying to me, Ted, I want to go to church with this.
Definitely.
And I'm thinking, well, there's no organ on this song. So
There
I'm
is
gonna,
now.
I said, I'll go to church, but I'm gonna go into it slowly. So I don't want to, you don't want it to go to, too much church. But
You
yeah,
wanna sneak into church. You don't want to just run into church.
Sneak
Right.
into church, you sit in that
Sneak in
back
there.
row. You sit in that back row until you become,
Until you're like, hallelujah.
Enlightened.
hallelujah, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was nice because when I did it, she goes, "That was it, Ted. Perfect."
Nailed it.
So I nailed it. That's what she said. That was exactly it. Nailed it. So I was happy.
Teddy, since
I don't know if you know, I didn't tell you this, Roberta, but the guy that recorded me works for Rick Rubin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He came in to help me with it, and he goes, "Man, this is pretty cool, man." So
Wow.
yeah.
That leads me to my question, Teddy. Since you've worked with so many great artists, have you played this song professionally? On a grand scale?
When we were in Slash's Blues, Slash's, it was called Slash and Friends, and we did a show with the blonde-haired guy from guitar player. Anyway, I can't remember these
Blonde
guys.
guitar player.
Yeah. Not Dave Mustaine. The other guy. Fuck, I
Other
can't.
guy.
Anyway, I'm so bad at that. Anyway, we did a show
come
in
to you.
Vegas. We did a show in Vegas, and we did it there. And
Okay.
we learned there. I played it once or twice though. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then
Along
what
with Comfortably Numb and all that stuff. But yeah, I have played it.
Yeah.
It's a very cool. You listen to the original version, man. That wasn't just laid down. I mean, it took some work in those tracks.
Right.
It's really a beautifully done song. So
It's a beautiful song, and it's very haunting, and
very haunting.
yeah, I'm just blown away. Everybody, like Derek Franks has such a soulful bass on it, and it's he's like setting it in there, and this between you and Perkins doing this with it, it's just perfect.
When I got the track, it was just bass, guitar, and drum. I think it was. I don't even think it was electric guitar. I think it was just acoustic guitar, bass, and drums. That's what I got, and that's what I had to play to. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think your vocal. There was no vocal on it either. So I just had to think of you going to church. So
Yeah. Well, I recorded that in my back house. That was empty while we were like under construction back there, and I recorded it in the back house, and the vocals weren't exactly where I wanted them, and so I went into a friend's studio. I begged him for a favor, and I got there, and he's like, "Yeah, we got an hour and a half," and I was like, "What? I got to lay down an entire song, like all the background tracks and all the like," and so I rushed through it. I got it done, but they were terrible. I was just like rushing, and it just didn't have the vibe. It didn't have the sound I wanted. And I ended up going into my bedroom at the end of the day and recording it in my bedroom under a bunch of blankets. And that's what you're hearing,
wow, that's great.
So yeah,
I didn't know
I
that.
had to stop every time an airplane went by or the neighbor's dog barked, But see, there's an airplane right now. You hear it? You hear
I
it?
would certainly would never have guessed that. That's something that would not be in the liner notes, but it should be.
Well,
Then you mentioned the soulful sound and going to church. Is that what led you to Derek Frank? Knowing what his bass sound is.
yeah.
You had in mind right away.
I knew that he could just funk it out, and I had no doubt. And you did.
Well, thank you.
Unintended, right?
Delivered.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah. I'm so happy.
It's one of those things where you don't want to change it up too much, because like the original bass line that Roger Waters plays was great, but of course like the vibe's going to be a little bit different based on who you're playing with, because Steven's feel is going to be a little bit different, and so is Derek Day's. So it's all about listening and just complimenting the other players that you're playing with, while staying true to the original and honoring that.
Yeah,
Right on.
it's beautiful.
Roberta, I'm glad you said something earlier about this is maybe like the beginning or the first one, because I was thinking I was going to ask you. This seems like something you should do again, with another song or another band or other bands.
Right. Well,
Like
we also discussed, the part of the reason why this took such a long time and why it's, I mean, if it wasn't for the Delta variant, it wouldn't even be relevant anymore, But so, I mean, because it took such a long time, part of the reason why it took so long, besides the technical difficulties and obstacles that I had to overcome, was, because it was a cover, and, the permissions involved and the licensing and all that stuff. And if I even to put it up on Facebook, they will take your stuff down if you don't have permissions, So I had to go through the right channels. I had to do it correctly. And it made me realize I can never do another cover again. or at least not for a while, because what I originally wanted to do was like covers of people, of artists who I've worked for,
That's what I was thinking.
But it's too difficult. That's too difficult. So I'd rather just work with the people that I've worked with. And
I didn't realize that, because you're singing it though. You're not using
it's their music, their lyrics, it's their song, so you have to, even though I own the video and stuff, you still have to have certain permissions to have it play, so I mean,
and it's not like a song that's not popular,
right?
And the more popular the song is, the more expensive it can be.
Exactly.
Maybe a dumb question. Then how do cover bands work? And tribute bands, or
they have to pay a certain, like with Brit Floyd, they have to pay a certain amount, a percentage of their gross earnings go to Pink Floyd.
I should have known that. Okay.
Yeah, and if they don't, they get shut down. They get shut down completely. It
saddens me, because I was thinking, obviously, especially today, you singing November Rain or something like that, just you. In this format, but that doesn't seem like it's on the horizon just yet?
Yeah, I no,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather work, do a song with GNR members like Gilby and Teddy, hint, hint, than, proceed with doing covers. I think this made my mind up not to,
Okay.
it's a hard pursuit, but I if they let me, if they allow me, I would love to work with these guys again, and continue. I just want to write and do originals and see where it goes.
What's the reception been like for the video, for the song? Because I know it's up on Bandcamp, right, and YouTube, and so
And
what's the
iTunes and
reception?
Amazon and Spotify, and it's on all the
Everywhere.
platforms. And it's I don't have a really big social media presence, just because I don't know, because I'm old. I don't know. But I'm trying to start, getting more of a presence. And I see, people have like 16,000 followers, and I have my little tiny bit. I'm trying to get it out there. And, I have friends with a lot of followers, so I'm trying to share it with those people, and just, trying to get it out there. And, the more people that see it, the more people that share it, the more people that like it and subscribe. I hate when people say hit like and subscribe, but I'm one of those people now. And, it's like, if they don't like and subscribe, it's not going to do anything. And it really was a labor of love. And, I wasn't doing it for any reason other than to just send my beautiful, thank you to Pink Floyd for giving me my first start in the business. And also, I think it's a beautiful song, and I think, it was very relevant, and to share it with other Pink Floyd fans and people who lost somebody during the pandemic. And there's so many messages on so many levels that I wanted to share from doing that song. And I just, the whole experience made me very humbled and very grateful. I would like to continue, but I'm not gonna go in that direction. I'm not gonna keep doing covers. I'm gonna do originals from here on out.
Well, wherever your creativity leads you, it's obviously going to do well. And what I got from it, and I'm sure the rest of the panel will agree, because you're all musicians, and I'm lucky as a radio person. I've been able to get transfer my job to at home. Musician, I can only fathom. I've tried to fathom just like how you have had to adapt during this pandemic. So the video and the song seems to be, more than anything to me, a love letter to the audience, to the live shared experience, which has been very tough. I don't know if Classless Act is back on the road. I don't know about the Box Masters, if you want to update us on that, going out. But I got to imagine, and same thing with you, Derek, with the artists you tour with, it's just a love letter. So just watching it, I felt, so it's an artist that gets it, not just with the fans that, we're all kind of suffering. And my fiance is bummed, although she just drove up to Saratoga today to see Dave Matthews for like the 20th time this summer. So, but, vaccinated, it took a while for that to even happen, but you know what I mean? So it's a love letter to the shared live experience, which is, rare these days, and even questionable when you go. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
Right.
I don't know. So I don't know if that was too
Well,
much for everybody.
no, it's true. And I wanted to actually ask Derek, because I saw some posts that your wife posted. I think it was with Gwen, and you were doing some shows, and I wasn't sure if they were indoor or outdoor, but I wanted to ask you about that, because how do you feel about doing shows?
Yeah, we had a show a couple of weeks ago, and it was our first show since February of 2020
with Gwen Stefani.
And it felt amazing, because obviously I just couldn't wait to get back to that gig. It was an outdoor show. It was in Ohio, and it's like sometimes you get out of California, you go to some other places, and it's almost like there's no pandemic, you know? It's like here we're really good about masking up and all that. I think in the bigger cities, people are in general. But it's like we went to Ohio and it was this big golf tournament, and there's this whole festival like involved. Like we played the opening ceremony for it. But there's a thing where they had all the streets in the city shut down and just tons of people everywhere. No masks, you know, no distance. But then we were playing outside, and I felt comfortable because we were all tested ahead of time. Like management set up a testing site for us and said, okay, you have to do it on this date to make sure that, within 48 hours of us doing this gig, we got to make sure our whole team is negative. So we all did that. And then we have a gig coming up next weekend as well. I don't know if it's indoors or outdoors, but same protocol. We all have to go test beforehand.
Good.
Yeah. But it did feel amazing to play again.
I gotta imagine being on Gwen Stefani's crew. That's just like a tight ship. Like you can't mess around. Like
yeah, it's got to be. I mean, we all have a lot to risk, you know, and Gwen also. I mean, you know, she just got married. She's got three kids. So she's got to stay healthy, you know.
Right.
We all do. You know, and we have since 2018, we were doing a Vegas residency, and that obviously has been, you know, shut down, but we're resuming that towards the end of October. That is indoors. I'm not sure what the protocols are yet for that, because we do like there's a general admission area in front of the stage. You know, it's a pit, you know, and it's a bunch of people, you know. So I don't know if they're going to do that or masks required or what. I'm not really sure. We haven't found out yet. You know,
I just wish shows would start mandating that. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my power here. I wish that shows would mandate that you have to be double vaxxed, that you have to wear a mask, and there has to be social distancing.
Well, a lot of them are doing that, but they're not policing it. It might just be
I know.
Police it. Like I went to the Forum to see the Black Crows, and it was like, okay, in order to attend the show, you have to either be vaccinated or show proof of a negative COVID test, and you have to, you know, wear a mask the whole time. But like we went in, no one checked any kind of credential for a negative test or vaccination. And then, you know, once you're inside, people get a couple drinks in them and the masks come off. And,
I know.
you know, so it was kind of like, you know, maybe half the people in the venue, you know, weren't wearing masks and all that. Luckily, it's, you know, I've been to a couple shows that are kind of like that. Like not everybody's masked up and they're not checking. Luckily, I haven't gotten COVID and I haven't heard of any of these shows becoming like any sort of super spreader, you know. I don't know. It's just hard to know what to think anymore, really.
right.
Because we in LA, we're just, you know, so about, science and wearing the masks and all that. But then, yeah, you go somewhere else, pretty much any other place, and you're like, wow, it's a totally different scene here.
Yeah.
It's hard to even like really know what's right anymore.
Yeah, I had dinner tonight with my relatives and walked into this restaurant. Nobody was wearing a mask. I was like, and I felt weird at wearing one. I was like,
yeah, people are looking at you probably.
Right.
You know, like what's this guy doing?
But you mentioned the Boxmasters. They did 10 shows and 3 guys caught it.
Oh, wow.
The whole tour stopped.
Oh God.
I've been hearing that from like a few other acts too. Like I've been, you know, bands that I follow on Instagram and whatnot, you know, I keep seeing these posts like, oh, unfortunately, like some people in our band or team came down with it, so we got to postpone these shows, whatever. It's happening. Yeah.
Didn't that happen with you, Derek?
Yeah, a bunch of shows. And you know, we've been playing residence and such. A residency actually recently, and it's
at where?
You know, in Marina Del Rey. We're playing at the Killer Yacht Club, and so we're doing that now, and it's indoors. People, you know, these distance themselves and stuff. It's even hard to get people out though, because it's just like nobody's really trying to, you know.
Right.
But I had a bunch of. Roberta, weren't we on a couple of gigs together that were just like canceled? I thought we were on a couple actually.
Yeah,
there's like a New Orleans Jazz Fest that was.
I was looking so forward to doing that New Orleans Jazz Festival, and it got canceled, and we were supposed to do like a Canadian gig and a Texas gig, and like all these gigs got canceled, you know, that Derek and I were supposed to do.
Wow, such a bummer.
Yeah.
some silver linings, right? Just because Derek, if this Derek Day rather, I have to specify, if the Motley Crue tour went off without a hitch, Class of Zach wouldn't be on the bill, right? So now when the tour resumes next year, the Crew, Poison, Def Leppard, is Joan Jett still on it? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Then-
Love her. I'm gonna come see you guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's awesome.
there's the blessing in the sky. One of the silver linings, I guess I should call it, that you got to, so before, because I know I can't keep you all forever. The fact that I've managed to keep 5 of you on together at once this long is a miracle. Can you just tell us how that happened? Let's talk about some positive concert news. How Class of Zach became part of that bill. I mean, congratulations. What an
Yeah.
honor.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah, absolutely.
see that.
Yeah, we just we're signed to Better Noise Music, and they have Papa Roach, I think Five Finger Death Punch, and all these cool, like, awesome active rock bands, and Motley's on there. So they already had another opener, but then, like you said, they had to cancel the tour, and that opener just fell through. And we were like, okay, let's record a whole album, release a single, and really try to impress the label and everybody. Let's do it. And then they're like, all right, you could open for them. So it was just some cool little synergy, as well as just like a lot of hard work, a lot of studio time, and writing with all sorts of writers. And yeah, pretty much, it's June 16, I believe, is the first date, 2022. And yeah, we're just kind of, I don't know, we're just working.
Well,
Good for
We'll get-
you.
We'll get Class of Zach, all of you guys, on a future episode, because it's just crazy.
Yeah, they're a very cool band. I
Yeah,
saw the
they are.
video.
They're great.
When I saw the video, I was like, okay, this is fucking great.
The
Oh,
video
goodness,
blew
right.
me away, and
Yeah.
I've seen them
Yeah.
perform, and yeah, it's definitely it's a crazy show.
Yeah.
And Derek has insane energy, and
Right.
it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
It really
been
is.
interesting
Thank
to
you.
watch. We'll get, because I want to
You
get
know I
Derek.
love you.
I want to get
I know,
Derek's story.
right?
Because I think I knew of Class of Zach before Derek was in the band, when it was just London Hudson, Slash's son, and Nico, who are now in another band, Saint Electric. And it's cool to see what Class of Zach, you guys morphed into something this awesome to open up for Motley Crue. So, in the future, just tell your bandmates, you guys got to come on, 300, episode 304 or something like that of the AFD show.
Absolutely. We'd love to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Before Derek, I think Derek Frank has to run. I know he has a time. I don't know if he's on the clock. I want to get your opinion as well. Because we have to celebrate today. I'm sorry, Roberta. It's the 30th, 3-0. September 17th, 1991. Use your illusion. I have to thank Derek Day for being younger than me, so I don't feel, I'm not the youngest one on the call. 1991. Look, Secret of the Ooze came out, Ninja Turtles 2. I was all about that in 1991. It took me a few years to fully digest Use Your Illusion, but it's not about me, my thoughts. So I'm just curious, any thoughts on the 30th anniversary? It's 30 years, maybe some of your favorite songs on the album. I can't, but you take it away. I'm rambling here. So Roberta or Teddy?
I thought you were asking Derek that.
oh,
Derek's like, what?
I can't.
Well,
I remember very well, like, where I was when that came out, because
Really?
I remember I was a freshman in college at University of Miami, and the album came out, and they were doing a midnight sale at their local record store. It's called Specs, and my roommate went to go get in line. I don't have patience for lines of any sort, so I didn't go, as excited as I was to hear it. But I remember my roommate was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in line for the midnight sale," and so he went and got it, and we just pumped it all night. Yeah,
Huh.
classic.
cool.
And I wish I would have seen the tour. It would have been amazing to see you guys.
It would have
It
been.
was an
Crazy.
adventure. It was an
I'm
adventure.
sure
to
it
say the
was.
least.
Jeez.
You never knew what was going to happen. Honest to God. That
Honestly, from day to
rock and
day,
roll.
right? We never knew what was going to
The band did a 2.5-hour show with no set list.
Yeah.
Go. See, tell me what band does that these
Right.
days.
Right. And
2.5 hours.
and the stage was so big that
So big.
we had these like dressing rooms underneath the stage.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we'd be like playing cards and hanging out under the stage. And then they'd be playing a song. They'd start playing a song that we're on. And then we'd be like, oh, we got to go upstairs. And, you know, so we'd run up onto the stage and start performing. It was insane.
It was like that all the time. He would introduce a song because we didn't know what the song was going to be. So he started talking. And then by what he said, we knew it was going to be double talking jive or something like that. Yeah. He would say something and go, double talking jive, I'm up, you know.
Right.
So you go racing up to the top. It was crazy. I mean, think about it. No set list. How would a light guy get the cues?
Oh, man.
Oh, my
God. Yeah.
Insane.
It's all different now because everything's automated and everything runs off a central computer.
Back then it was all analog. I mean, it was pretty high tech, but I mean, even to the pyrotechnics had to be you always had
a lot of those too.
Sometimes here's a good one. We had a guy named what was his name? The pyrotechnic guy, not Nitro. He had
wasn't it?
No, Nitro.
That's a total roadie name right there.
He had a name like Nitro, and he had a twitch.
That's what you want from your pyro guy. Like Nitro.
Oh no, his name was Pyro. That was it. Pyro. That was his name. That was his name, Pyro, and he had a twitch, and he was in charge of the pyrotechnics.
Oh my God.
You never knew how much he was going to fill the canisters up with until they went off. And you know,
there was some close. There
was so close, and the horn players would be playing, and then a flash pot would go off, and you could see like Ann King go like this.
Yeah, but you know, that gig gave me a lot of respect for the people that run the show, because they literally were running around like crazy because there was no set list. So the lighting guys and the sound guys, and the monitor, like all of them just really had to be completely on their toes. There was no messing around. No messing around. And I don't think Axl appreciated that as much as he should have, because being in a band with Axl Rose, you realize he was he is one of the greatest frontmen of all time. I mean, as quirky and as asshole as he was, nobody could do what he did. He was a great frontman. He really was.
I mean, try and run that distance, sprint and sing. It's crazy. I mean, I never saw anything like it.
It was an enormous stage.
And it's a stage, and it had stairs, and
we had ramps on the stage.
Ramps and stage.
It was crazy.
And when he got off the stage, he worked out.
Man.
Who does that?
Youth.
Right?
You gotta be. I mean, you gotta be in shape, man, for rock and roll.
He had his oxygen also still when he went off stage.
He had the oxygen, but he had this like machine that it looked kind of like
the ROM machine. It was called
the ROM machine. It was this machine that you sit in it and you like do all this like weird cardio. Yeah. It was just really crazy.
The case for it was as big as a one room apartment.
It was big.
Wow.
It was big.
Massive machine, and it was wild, man. It was they still are, they're great band, great songs.
Let me ask this, and to bounce off what Derek Frank was saying, because I never had the midnight experience. I was, too young, and for you, I mean, I can honestly just have an episode of just Roberta and Teddy Zig Zag just talking about the tour and just leave the mic on and just shut up. But do you guys, when we talk about the anniversary of the albums, are you able to separate your experience with the intense tour with just like the music? When you first, you ever just listen to, pop in a CD, pop in a cassette, or you heard it every night and it didn't matter? Have you ever been, are you able to kind of just sit back and appreciate the album to see for what it is, or does it come with too much extra for you since you were so involved in it? Does that make sense?
I never listened to the album the entire time that I was on tour, except for rehearsing. And I inhaled it before we went on tour, because I not only did I have to learn certain parts, but I also had to come up with vocal arrangements. And Slash was like, do what you want to do. So
Yeah.
I did that, but you know, so I inhaled it and I just tried to get the essence of it as much as I could. But after the tour, after listening to it every single night, I mean, they weren't my favorite band at the time. I liked them, but I mean, even if it was like somebody who I just top of my list, if I was on tour with them for that long, I don't think I would listen to them for a while after, you know.
Yeah.
So when I listen to them when they come on the radio or something, I, you know, and I always kind of jam out to it, you know. But yeah, I don't think it took me a few years to actually start listening to them again, because I was burnt out, you know. I was really burnt out.
Yeah.
So
And because
get
the
it.
shows were so long, there was so much material
it was
that
exhausting.
it really was exhausting, and that's what made it so much. When you appreciate, just these guys are really good, you know, because there's so much material, and the crowd obviously knew every song. I mean, we rarely did anything that they didn't know. Well, what's Estranged? That was
No,
that
they
was
knew
the
it. They did it.
they knew it,
they
but
knew
it was so hard to play. I think it was Estranged that they had cheat sheets on paper, because Axl was the only one with a teleprompter, so they had these cheat sheets taped to the stage with the notes in it, because we would rarely play that song. It's an involved tune, man. Estranged, that's a
Might have
piece.
been, you know,
Yeah.
But for both of you, how do you feel being associated? I know it's different. The tour and the albums they're one and the same. They are, but they aren't. You know, but when people think about Use Your Illusion, they think back 30 years. How do you feel being associated, you know, still associated with that all, you know, and people just think back and listen and thank you all these years later. People are still listening to the music, still talking about it 30 years later. You know, how does that make you feel?
For me, it was a gig. You know, I was happy to have a gig, but then again, I was also friends with Slash and Duff, and you know, there was no auditions for our part. They just, you know, let's call Roberta and Tracy, and I no, you had Diane first.
No,
and then
I had
Diane,
Tracy.
no?
I brought Tracy in,
Okay,
and
that's
then
what I thought.
Tracy took a hiatus for a leg, and I
That's
brought
right.
Diane in.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I brought the horns in. You know, they said we need some horns for these. So I just knew some girls that I played with, and they came down, and you know, luckily they worked, because, well, that's why the girl singers came in, because they were told, the girl horn players told me, well, we can sing. And then it was the
Sorry.
it was the I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I don't,
I
you
was
know,
so
I'm
angry.
sure they'll hear this, but they said, we'll do Heaven's Door. And I know the girls will probably see this, and I'll get the phone call, but they said they stepped to the mic to start to sing. And I went, oh my God, they can't sing. And
I remember being at rehearsal with them,
Yeah.
and
like,
they
oh my
started
God.
singing. And first of all, I had written out arrangements for me and
Yeah.
Tracy to sing. So they start singing willy-nilly, and they were not singers. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Oh
are
my
you
God.
doing? And we
Yeah.
actually kind of got into it a little bit. And
Yeah.
Slash kind of had to go, girls, 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 you know, these are the singers and you're the horn players. Let's separate these two things. And that was that. And
Yeah.
I was very happy about that, because I was all that work, you know,
Yeah.
that I had done.
It was,
yeah.
you know, and this is stuff that went on in the early days. But you know, in the end,
crazy.
it all ended up becoming a good show.
Yeah.
The show was unbelievable. I mean, there was a lot of going on that stage, man. I'll tell you that. Between the
It was
pyrotechnics, the girls, and Axl running back and forth, and so
I'm glad we
it
got
was-
those Tokyo DVDs. I'm glad that's what I
Yeah.
grew up on. So then, Derek, Day, you're shaking your head. Yes, as is the resident youngin. How did you discover, you know, Use Your Illusion? Do you remember how? Do you have older siblings? You know, was MTV was probably still making, still playing music at the time. So how did you
Yeah.
first discover them?
No, I think they were, but I did have older brothers, and my Waldemar, actually the guy who helped edit the video for Wish You Were Here with
brilliantly.
us. He's the one who had Tokyo 1 and 2 discs. I watched it. Roberta, don't get mad at me, because you got mad at me one time when I said how old I was. when I watched it. But I was like 9 years old, and I was like, "This is the best thing ever." Me and Roberta were in Budapest. We're in Hungary, like getting ready for a gig, and like we're eating food, and Roberta was like, "Shut up, like stop it." But I was like, "I'm just saying I love you." But I was like, I had both. I had that. Actually, it was that concert. It was that tour on the DVD that introduced me to Guns. And so I know like everything off both of those albums and everything, like back all the lyrics. Like I'm kind of a super fan. So yeah, there you go.
We're gonna get again when Classic Act comes on. We're gonna get your 6 degrees, what I call 6 degrees of GNR Bacon instead of Kevin Bacon. You know, obviously.
Yeah, right.
I love
Roberta's and Teddy's is obvious. Derek, Frank, do you have any GNR connections that we may or may not know? Any 6 degrees of Guns N' Roses?
No, not really. It's like I know a lot of musicians that played in Slash's band, and obviously I know Roberta. I know Ann King, who played trumpet, on that tour. So I know, I've got some friends that toured with them, but I don't really feel like I have any connections. Although, I mean, I was a huge fan. I was just kind of starting to play bass when Appetite for Destruction came out, and to me, Duff was God. I mean, I was trying to figure out that beginning bass melody in Sweet Child of Mine. Like when I finally figured out how to play that, I mean, I felt like I had accomplished something. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I mean, obviously, I was a huge fan and still am.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just always try to uncover, those chance meetings. You never know if you met Slash at a Roy Rogers or something random.
I've never met any of the core band members.
Okay, because you worked with so many people. That's why it's just
just haven't crossed paths with any of them. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people that have worked with them, people from Slash's band and whatnot.
I guess that counts.
But yeah, haven't really crossed paths. I've never met Duff. I hope to meet him at some point. Got a lot of respect for the guy.
He's a sweetheart.
I know a lot about him. He seems really cool, and seems to just really have his shit together. Aside from being a great bass player and rock star, So yeah, and he was definitely an early inspiration for me as a player, because like when I started getting into playing bass, it was 88-ish, around the time that Appetite came out, and I just I played in a garage band. We played a bunch of those songs, and so yeah, he was definitely an early influence.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, other than working, because you talked about your stuff with Gwen Stefani and the residency, what else do you have cooking? Because it's too much. I'm reading the back of your air quote baseball card, with all your statistics. I'm like, how do I introduce this guy? He's
I'm working with a lot of people.
Well, like all of us, I'm kind of filling in the gaps until my regular gigs come back. I mean, tonight I'm flying out to Atlantic City. I have a gig tomorrow night with a group called Down to the Bone, really fun, like British acid jazz funk band. We're playing this jazz festival out there. Okay. And let's see, got a couple other things. I'm doing a gig with Orianthi on October 9th. We're opening for the Dead Daisies, which is kind of like a super group with like Glenn Hughes and Doug Aldrich. And
I just had Glenn Hughes on the show.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So they're on tour now. So when they come do the LA show, Orianthi's gonna be opening up, and I'm gonna play with her.
Nice.
So that's coming up, and then I'm just doing some gigs with my own band here and there. I put out a record last year. It was my pandemic project. So,
what's the name of it?
Oh, it's just under my name, just Derek Frank. Album's called 11 Years Later. Okay. And we've been doing some gigs at the Baked Potato here in LA. Had a couple gigs there, and hoping to book something else soon. But I'm kind of laying off of that just until I start up with Gwen again, because I'm just trying to keep safe. I don't want to, by chance, put myself in a situation where I get COVID and then can't do my regular gig. So right. I'm putting my own stuff on hold for, at least till the pandemic mellows out.
I got it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Derek Day, what else would you have on tap for Classic Act and solo? What do you have going on right now?
Well, we we recorded a whole album early at the start of 2020, or like in mid 2020. We finished it then, so we're just slowly dropping singles. So we just dropped one last month.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're just you'll see the whole album before the tour next year, before our Motley tour. But really, we just have a residency out in Marina Del Rey. It's called the Killer Yacht Club. So if you want to see us play 4 hours worth of music, come on by.
Wow.
And we play originals and covers. And we just have fun. It's just us earning our stripes and getting better and better and more ready for the tour and keeping it distant and safe. And that's all really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And you, Mr. Zigzag, what do you have? I'm sorry about what happened with the Box Masters, but what do you have?
Oh, I've actually been recording with Gilby still. We did an acoustic gig, believe it or not, over at Universal Bar and Grill a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
Really? The Unibar.
The Unibar, and then we did a live video concert that we filmed and played live, and then we just got done doing fixes on it. And then I'm gonna play some gigs with Walter Trout here in October. I'm gonna do about 2.5 weeks with him. What else? Just odds and ends. And the Empty Hearts are maybe gonna go out next year. I may, hook up with them. That's Clem Burke, Elliot Easton, Wally Palmer, Andy Babuke. So, all kinds of stuff in the fire. And then, of course, recordings. I do sessions, B3 stuff for people from my home, and, stuff. And Roberta, see?
Whatever she needs you for.
Yeah.
What are you recording with? What are you recording with Gilby, if you don't mind me asking, or is it a secret project?
No. It was. I was doing his new record, and that's done. And then
The one that's out.
I don't even know what it's called. What's it
The
called?
Gospel Truth.
Gospel Truth. That's right. What am I talking about?
That's out. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it. And then
we both worked on that.
yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, there's the picture that somebody just put up on Facebook of the one that we took, the 3 of us.
Right.
It-
Yeah.
Roberta,
Gilby's place.
right? You shared your memory on Facebook.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it's a shared memory.
The share. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time 3 of us had been in
Yeah.
a room together.
for a long time.
Long
Mm.
time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Gilby's record, and like I said, this video performance that we did, and we're gonna start doing some acoustic things here and there.
Very cool.
But and then Gilby works on my bike when I need it. When I need it to
Sounds
fix
like-
it.
This sounds like a reality show. Just watch Teddy Zig Zag.
He's an amazing motorcycle mechanic. Amazing. I swear to God, it blows my mind to see how
That's
good
funny.
he is. Yeah, he's
Very
really
cool.
good, really good.
I had a
Well,
great
I would-
opportunity. I had a great
Yeah.
opportunity to jam with him once at a jam, and he's sick. He's awesome to play with.
Yeah.
He
He's
did that
cool, dude.
NAM show that we did that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
Gilby,
right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was there at the NAM thing. That's right.
Yeah. That was
Very good.
a nutty night.
Yeah.
yes.
Say the least.
Crazy.
And I would ask Roberta what you're up to, but we basically spent an hour talking about it.
Yeah. So, just check it out. Go, please. If you like the video, share it, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's what I
Got
do.
it.
Okay. And the single is out on iTunes and Amazon and Music and Spotify and Apple Music and all, everywhere. And if you like it, please share it and make sure you like and subscribe and buy the single, and hopefully, it does something, so we'll
And it's
see.
just
Yeah.
under Roberta Freeman. It's not just
It's under Roberta Freeman. The single is called "Wish You Were Here,"
Yeah.
and you could go to robertafreeman.com and you could click on it from there. You could see it on my website, or you could go straight to YouTube or straight to iTunes and all those platforms and check it out.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you named like how I named the Zoom link, the Zoom meeting, Roberta Freeman and Friends. I just didn't know how to
Oh,
title it.
I didn't. They are my friends. They're my good friends. I love them.
Well, I
I
know you
love
you
appreciate the
guys.
time that they gave you, but I appreciate all of your
Absolutely.
time tonight. Thank you so much. Just talking about the single, talking about Use Your Illusion, which has been it's an anniversary. I forget how many years it is.
Yeah.
right?
The anniversary. Yeah.
Thanks for, and just like the first time when Roberta and Teddy you were on, just to be a fly on the wall to hear you guys talk. Obviously, people who have just tremendous affection toward each other after all these years. I believe you don't have to respond to it, but those 2.5 years earn you, in addition to everything you did in your career, a Hall of Fame bid. That tour, the fact that those albums, the fact that we're talking about it 30 years later. Sorry, Roberta. The fact that we're talking about it.
I was only 12 on that tour, okay? So it's all right.
The Doogie
okay.
Howser of backup singers. I got it. All right. Well, thank you all. That does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When will you see the next one? Well, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, you'll see it. I don't know if soon is the word.